You're listening to Potato Pasta, the best stories from the internet narrated by a human. The following prompt was written by SnippyTheDeliveryFox. Intergalactic Security stops a human outside the warp gate, attempting to arrest them for smuggling a container of dangerous caustic liquid. The embarrassed, exhausted human with light years of jet lag struggles to explain to the increasingly terrified officers what a stomach is. The following response is written by sadnesslaughs.
You'd expect me to believe that your tummy tum is carrying enough acid to burn through metal? You must have a stomach of iron, little human.
Grawl laughed, nudging her co-worker who didn't seem amused. In fact, her co-worker's four-eyed face was whimpering, the machine confirming the human's horrifying internal acids.
Hulax, what's wrong? Don't tell me you believe that little story.
Doug sighed, the morning coffee having not kicked in yet. Even with a boost of Oxy 8 in his coffee, he just couldn't shake that warp jump lag. He was glad this was one of the 8 regions where Oxy 8 was legal, or else he might have more issues than just having to explain what a stomach was.
Have you not met a human? Wait, you know what a human is, right? You used the phrase tummy tum. That sounds humanish.
Grawl snickered, looking away from the monitor that was flashing red, showing a security alert for an illegal substance. One that could be deadly if it got near the electronics of the warp gate. She stared Doug up and down, finding her first human rather interesting. Sure, she had seen a few photos and even watched a 5-minute documentary on his kind in her training course, but seeing one up close was a little odd. While she was on the clock, she couldn't help but ask some burning human-related questions.
Where's all that hair you lot have? Are you a sick human?
Hair? I have hair. Doug tapped his head and chest as though he was playing a strange impromptu game of head, shoulders, knees, and chest hair.
Yeah, but like the rest of it. Also, don't you have big ears and swing from trees?
Are you confusing me with a chimpanzee?
What's that?
Doug wondered if the money from this delivery was even worth it at this point. Maybe he should just accept defeat and find a station that's run by a more sophisticated set of aliens. He looked to Hulax for some sort of common sense, but he was fixated on the monitor, taking only the odd glance at Doug's stomach before looking back at the machine.
I think you might have gotten your information about humans a little mixed up. It's a common mistake, happens way too often. So how about I just try to explain a stomach to you? Okay, fine. If you swing from the ceiling,
Grawl said, still not noticing the difference between the documentary about chimps she had accidentally seen and the human standing before her.
Again, not a chimp. Okay, so humans have stomach acid to dissolve food. It's kind of like our way of being able to digest food. Surely you have something similar?
We only drink meals. Food clogs up our bodies,
Hulax said, shivering as he backed away from the monitor, standing behind Grawl, worried the human's stomach might burst and spray acid everywhere.
This might be hard to explain then. You know how eating works then, correct?
I do.
Okay, so we eat stuff, and the acid dissolves it, and bang, it vanishes.
Where does it go?
Where do you think? Oh, I know, they fling it at each other. There is this human in a cage.
Grawl tried to explain her facts to Hulax, only for Doug to interject.
Not a chimp.
Let's say I believe you. How are you not melting? That can burn through metal. How are you alive?
Hulax asked. It was a good question, and unfortunately one Doug was nowhere near qualified to answer. It's not like highly educated individuals did dangerous drop-offs to planets with low council ratings.
Something to do with stomach lining? I don't know. I didn't build humans. If I did, I would have gotten rid of hangovers. Jump up and down. I want to see if you go boom.
Grawl clapped, her 3 hands joining in a loud clenched smack.
What, like a soft drink? Fine. I wish I had breakfast first.
He hopped on the spot, being reminded of his lack of fitness as he huffed, struggling to complete the little inspection routine. The coffee wasn't helping, shifting like a dark wave in his body, threatening to make him sick.
The tummy tum didn't go boom. Maybe he's telling the truth.
Grawl conceded. She didn't appear that interested in whether it was illegal for him to enter, just satisfied that something fun had happened today.
I don't know. It's an illegal substance. Won't we get in trouble for letting him in? What if he spits acid or dissolves? I don't want to clean that up.
He has tummy lining or whatever he said. I can shake him if that would help.
Grawl offered, the 8-foot alien grinning at the prospect, only for Helax to shake his head.
No, I doubt that would solve anything. How about you show us your stomach and we can let you through?
How?
Helax lifted the bottom of his shirt, showing a squared abdomen. It was odd. Doug could see a faint lining along the edges of his abdomen, like the linings you might see on a closed fridge door, indicating it could open. His nails twisted into the side of his abdomen before he opened it.
Just like that.
That morning coffee was feeling far less stable after that. Doug having to use all his professionalism to avoid making the situation worse. He tilted his gaze away, focusing on a security camera in the room's corner.
Humans can't do that. Our bodies are meant to stay shut. Please, can you close it?
Helax did as Doug asked, closing it before tucking his shirt back into his pants. He thought over what Doug had said before speaking.
So your body is technically sealed. Okay, I think I understand. You will have to fill in Form 904A Section D. That form is a declaration of secured materials. It lets everyone in the station know you're carrying a dangerous substance in a sealed container. Just don't unseal your stomach.
I'll be dead if I do that, but sure. Whatever ends this nightmare.
For a person who thought he had seen it all, this was a fresh experience. That was the miracle of space travel. No matter how much one had seen, there was always a stranger thing waiting in some corner of the galaxy. Helax got the paperwork, returning with the document. He put on a glove before handing it over, still not trusting the human. Doug took the form and filled it in, scribbling in his messiest handwriting. With the form done, he handed it over to Grawl.
Here, now can I please go in? Sure. See you around, tummy man,
Grawl said, smacking him across the back. The smack caused Doug to stumble, nearly hitting the floor. He regained his balance and looked up to see a shaking Helax. Helax acting as if Grawl had just cut the red wire on a ticking time bomb.
I hope I don't see you around,
Doug grumbled, cracking his back before he walked into the station, hoping the delivery went a little smoother than his previous interaction. Felsenwald 3 continues the story. Bert DeVento sighed. Peering over at the border control agents, he wondered how much longer this was going to take. This was supposed to have been one of the most important diplomatic missions of his life, and he was going to be late.
Look,
He said, tapping his watch impatiently.
it's 13:43 Universal Time, and I'm supposed to meet with Scrog Boghimmer in less than 20 minutes. Shouldn't I have diplomatic immunity from all this?
I'm sorry, sir.
One of the Dudrali replied, though Bert privately thought that she didn't sound sorry at all, not one whit.
It's routine protocol. We need to make sure you aren't bringing dangerous substances into Serenity 2.0. Normally this wouldn't take more than 5 minutes, but something showed up on the body scan.
Bert patted his pockets absent-mindedly. Had he forgotten to take his keys out? Or perhaps it was one of the screws that had been installed during his latest knee replacement. Damn security measures.
All right.
The Dudrali walked back around the scanner to where Bert was standing. Bert sensed a slight shift in her tone. Before, she'd sounded bored. Now she sounded much more alert, and there was an edge of wariness in her tone. That couldn't be good.
What's in your midriff area?
What do you mean, my midriff area?
Bert patted his gut.
The beginnings of a beer belly, I guess?
He laughed weakly at his own joke.
I'm not sure what you mean. I can take off my jacket and shirt if you'd like, but I'm sure nobody would want to see that.
The Dudrali did not laugh.
Please do.
Wriggling out of his suit, Bert's ears burned with embarrassment. There he stood, bare-chested in the middle of the border control central.
Okay.
Another Dudrali ran over.
We apprehended another one of the human diplomats. They've got a very large pouch of highly corrosive substance, and they say that it can't be removed. I suggest we close our borders to the human population for the time being. I do not know if their whole planet is in on it, but it appears that we have foiled an assassination plot.
Bert sighed again, the 5th time in as many minutes. His diaphragm was really getting quite the workout. The two Dudrolli must be talking about Reynolds. Unfortunately, as part of security measures, all cell service was disabled in the Cadis X-90 border control facility. Bert and Reynolds had split up into different lines so that if one of them finished early, they could nip off to Scrog and let him know that they were going to be late. The first Dudrolli straightened, its single eye trained on Bert. It was hard to stare down at Dudrolli, Bert reflected. You had to go cross-eyed a little bit for it to work.
So what do you have to say for yourself?
Although this was his first diplomatic mission that had taken place outside of planet Earth, Bert had been selected for this mission for a reason. He considered his next few words very carefully.
I believe we have gotten off on the wrong foot. Hello, my name is Bert. I'm the first human you've ever met, correct?
He refrained from sticking his hand out and instead opted for the customary Dudrolli greeting of snorting 3 times. The Dudrolli eyed him warily.
And I'm Bly. I would say it's a pleasure to meet you, but you have yet to explain yourself. Please refrain from changing the subject.
Apologies, Bert replied. I wanted to make the point that our two species have never met before. I know very little about Dudrolli biology, and it appears that you are unaware of human digestive systems.
Blya nodded her eye stalk, acknowledging his point.
This is true. We were given a primer on human biology when we were notified of your arrival, but we simply haven't had time to go over the manual. There is never a slow moment in border control.
Well then, if you would like me to, I would love to explain.
Bert continued.
By all means.
In order for us to obtain energy, we need to break to consume substances that are then broken down into smaller parts,
Bert explained.
Once they have been broken down, we can then reassemble them into usable functional units.
This was a vast oversimplification of some quite complicated processes, but it would do. Watching Blya closely, Bert could see that she was following along.
Our stomachs, located in our midriffs, are responsible for breaking down whatever we consume. As such, they need to be highly corrosive to degrade all sorts of organic matter. This would explain the presence of the acidic pouch that is showing up on the scanner. The acid never leaves the pouch, else it would be damaging to us as well.
Bert decided that heartburn could be a topic for another day. He didn't want to complicate things further.
That sounds dangerous,
Blya replied.
But this snafu is also partly on us. I will cross-check with the manual we were given, and if this all lines up, you will be free to go.
Bert nodded graciously. For all his calm demeanor, his nerves screamed at him to hurry up. He surreptitiously glanced at his watch as Blya ambled back to one of the cubes in the border control office. It was 13:56 Universal Time. After a minor eternity, Blya came back out.
You're all clear,
she said. Turning to the other Dudrolli, she nodded her eye stalk in affirmation.
You can let the other human go, and make sure the rest of the officers are briefed on this.
13:58 Universal Time. Bert wasn't sure how long it would take for him to sprint from border control to Scrog Boghimmer's office, but he hoped his lungs were up to the challenge.
Thanks for sticking with me till the end. If you enjoy my narrations, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you want to know when new videos come out, hit the bell and make sure you select all notifications. I know it's annoying to ask, but it really does help the channel reach more people. Thank you.